Gillette, an analysis of the razor market.
This video covers the case study and answers the three key questions raised in the proposal. Question 1 covers the factors Gillette has historically maintained a monopoly, and question 2 and 3 cover the analysis of the factors shifting the demand and supply curve in the razor market between the period from 2010 to 2018.
Gary Coombe is the president of global grooming for Procter & Gamble. Every August, the release of annual results comes around like clockwork, but Gary had never felt as somber as he did on this occasion. In 2010, Gillette held 70% of the market share for razors, with Schick being the only other key player in the market. They had all the bargaining power as the dominant razor supplier, and they could charge a 3,000% markup. But now, Gillette only has 65% market share. They've had 4 consecutive years of negative net earnings, and they've been forced to slash their prices. Gary knew that if he wanted to see a positive change in Gillette's 2019 results, the business couldn't continue on this path. He needed to look back at how Gillette had established a monopoly in the razor market to then understand where and how this was being eroded. He also needed to work out how they'd lost market share over the past 8 years, so this is what Gary and his team set out to do.
In 1901, Kingsley Gillette invented the first safety razor, moving the razor from the barber into the home and creating demand for at-home razors for the first time. The prominence and ubiquity of the Gillette razor was firmly established during World War I, with a government contract that saw 3.5 million Gillette razors distributed to US soldiers. From here, Gillette cemented its foothold as the dominant razor brand throughout the 1900s, leading up to its acquisition by Procter & Gamble in 2005, a $57 billion deal that was and remains the company's largest acquisition to date. Gillette's brand platform was built on quality and innovation, summarized by its tagline, "The best a man can get." In recent years, Gillette's dominance of the razor market has been eroded. An examination of P&G grooming sales and net earnings between 2010 and 2018 paints a stark picture of reduced demand for Gillette, P&G's leading grooming brand. Figure 1 shows a trend of 6 years of negative or flat net sales year on year leading into 2018, and 4 years of negative net earnings year on year. Gillette's largely undisturbed reign of market dominance has been shaken by the introduction of budget competitors Dollar Shave Club and Harry's, vying for consumer demand and making the men's razor market more elastic. Figure 2 shows key competitor activity plotted against P&G grooming net sales figures between 2010 and 2018. In 2017, Gillette slashed its razor prices by an average of 12% and launched Gillette On Demand, mimicking the direct-to-consumer subscription models of the new low-cost competitors. By 2018, Dollar Shave Club and Harry's have captured a combined share of 12% of the razor market, with another 15% claimed by stalwart competitor Schick and Gillette at a reduced 65% share. Factors influencing demand in the razor market include low-cost digital marketing and direct-to-consumer retail channels. P&G is known for its generous marketing budgets as shown in Figure 3. However, the digital era has opened more cost-effective avenues for brands to reach consumers. Dollar Shave Club launched with a YouTube video that cost $4,500 to produce, going viral within 72 hours and shaking the foundations of the razor market as Gillette knew it. Similarly, Gillette has historically relied on in-store sales via retail partners, making the brand susceptible to lagging brick-and-mortar traffic and sales. Consumers now purchase more online, with direct-to-consumer retail channels allowing Harry's to grow 35% year-on-year from 2014 to 2016, which is 3 times faster than the industry average.
Whilst Gillette was focused on technology and innovation to create a premium product, it left a gap in the market in price and convenience, allowing low-cost competitors such as Harry's and Dollar Shave Club to enter. This changing competitive landscape led to Gillette and Schick to update their offerings to include online sales and reduced prices. Manual and razor blade sales decreased consistently over the years from 2016 to 2018. This is primarily driven by a change in men's grooming trends, ranging from an aging population where hair growth is slowing, a change in the level of facial hair that the modern man has in comparison to the early 1900s, and environmentally conscious consumers exploring substitutes in recognition of the 2 billion razors that are thrown away each year. Improvement in technology has impacted supply, with there being substantial decreases in the cost of production, attracting new entrants to the market and allowing suppliers to produce more at each price level. Low interest rates and the financial success of Harry's and Dollar Shave Club has attracted venture capital and equity investors into the market. Both companies received $1 billion valuations within the 2010 to 2018 period. The high investor returns has attracted further investment in the market, making the access to and the cost of financial capital less prohibitive for other new entrants. Historically, there have been fewer than 10 manufacturers of razor blades in the world. Therefore, new entrants have either experimented with textures and materials or alternatively insourced the manufacturing process. The price of plastic materials and resin have declined during the period, and this has contributed to the decline in razor prices.
Question 1. How has Gillette historically maintained a monopoly of the razor market? This figure summarises the low rating attributable to each of Porter's 5 forces, explaining Gillette's long-run monopoly. Gillette was able to establish strong barriers to entry from the outset through its patent of the first razor and an exclusive government contract in World War I. Both the patent and exclusivity enabled Gillette to establish economies of scale and control distribution channels, restricting the bargaining power of buyers. With only one main competitor in Schick, the bargaining power of suppliers was also low, as there was little opportunity to produce and sell razors to other customers. Gillette's dominance in brand equity and innovation has led consumers to switch between its product portfolio rather than substitutes like the electric shaver, in addition to keeping rivalry among existing competitors low.
Gillette has maintained brand awareness by pursuing an aggressive advertising strategy with a focus on product innovation and superiority. Gillette's product performance and long-standing association with sports has resonated with men for over a century. Strong association with sport and significant advertising spend has entrenched Gillette's loyal customer following. Gillette's brand ethos is built on quality, continuously introducing new products, and razor innovation to keep the brand relevant over decades. Gillette has built brand equity over the years by presenting its razor as a daily need rather than a self-indulgent product, hence satisfying the 5 key components of Arca's brand equity model. Question 2. Analyze the factors shifting the demand curve in the razor market between the period from 2010 to 2018. The table below describes the factors that have resulted in shifting the market demand curve to the left. As more men move towards adopting the relaxed bearded look, razor companies like Gillette struggle to influence shaving needs. Consumers are becoming more environmentally aware and consciously play a part in reducing waste. There's a growing trend towards more eco-friendly products such as electric shavers and recycled razors, and with an aging population further reducing the demand for shaving razors. The rise in cheap, convenient, subscription-based razors introduced by Dollar Shave Club at Harry's offers a compelling substitute for consumers, resulting in increased competition in the razor market. As shown in the figure, the market demand for razors can be analyzed through the movement in price and quantity over the period from 2010 to 2018. An average equilibrium price of approximately $15 and an average equilibrium quantity of approximately 170 million has been estimated at point E0. To simplify the analysis and highlight the shift in the demand curve, a 45-degree slope has been assumed. But note that it's expected that the slope would be steeper given the inelasticity of razors as a perceived necessity. The demand for razors has shifted to the left, putting downward pressure on price as seen in Gillette's price reduction at point E1.
This figure summarises the low rating attributable to each of Porter's 5 forces, explaining Gillette's long-run monopoly. Gillette was able to establish strong barriers to entry from the outset through its patent of the first razor and an exclusive government contract in World War I. Both the patent and exclusivity enabled Gillette to establish economies of scale and control distribution channels, restricting the bargaining power of buyers. With only one main competitor in Schick, the bargaining power of suppliers was also low, as there was little opportunity to produce and sell razors to other customers. Gillette's dominance in brand equity and innovation has led consumers to switch between its product portfolio rather than substitutes like the electric shaver, in addition to keeping rivalry among existing competitors low. This figure summarises the low rating attributable to each of Porter's 5 forces, explaining Gillette's long-run monopoly. Gillette was able to establish strong barriers to entry from the outset through its patent of the first razor and an exclusive government contract in World War I. Both the patent and exclusivity enabled Gillette to establish economies of scale and control distribution channels, restricting the bargaining power of buyers. With only one main competitor in Schick, the bargaining power of suppliers was also low, as there was little opportunity to produce and sell razors to other customers. Gillette's dominance in brand equity and innovation has led consumers to switch between its product portfolio rather than substitutes like the electric shaver, in addition to keeping rivalry among existing competitors low. This figure summarizes the low rating attributable to each of Porter's 5 forces, explaining Gillette's long-run monopoly. Gillette was able to establish strong barriers to entry from the outset through its patent of the first razor and exclusive government contract in World War I. Both the patent and exclusivity enabled Gillette to establish economies of scale and control distribution channels, restricting the bargaining power of buyers. With only one main competitor in Schick, the bargaining power of suppliers was also low, as there was little opportunity to produce and sell razors to other customers. Gillette's dominance in brand equity and innovation has led consumers to switch between its product portfolio rather than substitutes like the electric shaver, in addition to keeping rivalry among existing competitors low.